Hello, and welcome to the Cycle Endometriosis podcast, where we will delve deep into experiences, challenges, and triumphs of those navigating a life with endometriosis. Join us as we share the stories of resilience, offer insights from experts, and foster a community of support for those affected by this often misunderstood condition. Whether you're newly diagnosed, a seasoned warrior, or seeking understanding, I hope this podcast is here to help empower you and uplift you on your journey. Tune in as we break the silence, shatter stigmas, and amplify the voices of the endometriosis community. Medical disclaimer: this podcast is not intended for the purpose of providing medical advice. All information, content, and material of this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to serve as a substitute for the consultation, diagnosis, and/or medical treatment of a qualified physician or healthcare provider. Thank you so much for being here, and now on to the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of the Cycle Podcast. I'm so excited today because I have one of my very dear friends on the show. Winnie Chan is joining us, and I'm so grateful because I just adore and love Winnie, and so grateful to have Winnie in my life. And she has been there through a lot of my ups and downs with this disease, and I'm just so excited for you all to meet her today because she is also an acupuncturist and has helped me realize how helpful acupuncture is for endometriosis. But before we get into all of that, I want to welcome you to the show, Winnie. Thank you so much for being here. And why don't you just say hello and start off by telling us a little about yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Winnie Chan, and I am so thankful to be on this show. Melissa started this podcast many years ago, and I've been following it very closely. And to be on this podcast today is just privilege. And also, I'm very excited to actually share that all these years I've been studying acupuncture while juggling a full-time corporate job. And it's been an amazing journey because as I learned to heal as well mentally and emotionally. I am a endometriosis patient, and that's how I got connected to Melissa through foundations that we both advocate and support for. And I'm so privileged to be here today and share my story and share all these different tips and tricks of what I learned in acupuncture school, and share with you that there's other toolboxes besides surgeries, besides chiropractors or pelvic PT. There's also other tools and modalities that can actually help you manage your symptoms.
Can't wait to learn so much more about that. And just very excited to have you here. I'd love to just start off with, just tell us a little bit about your endo story before we get into acupuncture, just so the listeners, understand what you've been through.
Yeah, I've been to a very, very complicated endometriosis saga, right? It was nonstop, and it still continues to bother me today. But there's a message that I want to tell you, that even though there's all these different things that I've been through in my life, back and forth with the ER, many surgeries, many different outpatient visits, I still stand here today living a quality life and doing what I wanted to do, and try to help women with fertility or endometriosis issues as a way to give back to all the medical care I receive. So a little bit of background: my endometriosis saga began when I was diagnosed at 16 years old and overall impacted nearly every part of my life. I missed graduations, birthdays, weddings, so many milestones that should have been joyful, but I laid horizontal, flat on my bed. And in high school, I spent lunch periods curled up in the nurse's office with the heating pad and trying to manage a pain that no one else could see. I grew quiet, I grew withdrawn. I felt like I was constantly apologizing for declining invitations from my friends or families, and also a lot of last-minute cancellations, which is very common for us endo ladies. And unfortunately, at one point, people just stopped inviting me to different events, and that was pretty much my life. Fast forward to 2017, I was incredibly fortunate to be treated by world-renowned gold standard excision surgery team at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York, where I work closely with urologists, colorectal surgeons, and I received top care. Um, Even though I was incredibly fortunate, that's the appreciation mode from my end. I almost lost my life because I went in 2017 in July, right after I graduated from NYU, my master's program in public health. I was sent into the ER for a 13-hour surgeries. Removed a lot of endometriosis and infiltrated my bowels. I was not able to eat or bring anything down. I was throwing up every food. It was not going down at all. And I also had a bladder resection and a ureter resection because endometriosis was silently killing my kidneys. I always had this really heavy back pain in my right side. And as of today, I can tell you I only have 30% functioning on my right kidney, which is fine to me. I'm happy because I'm able to keep my kidney, and other situations would have gone a lot worse. And this is all due to the care that I received. The incredible team of surgeons, where my OBGYN really rallied all the superheroes, because before I went to Lenox Hill, I went to other hospitals and they told me I have to be the one to actually reach out to a urologist, a colorectal surgeons, and put them all together to be in a room to operate on me while I'm like trying to scramble and in pain walking around New York City, trying to figure out what to do. And also the grueling pain of repeating that story again where you stand, sharing the blood work, and it can be quite overwhelming, right? Especially with the top care you received in New York City. I endured over about 50 ER visits throughout my lifetime and 7 surgeries. And the physical toll was really exhausting, but the emotional isolation, that hit just as hard. But after all the surgeries, the turning point which came for me is when I found acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. The first time that I felt seen, not just as a uterus or ovaries or a diagnosis, but a whole person. They weren't just like looking at me, woman, OBGYN issues, pain, but a whole person who really listened to me. That's what my acupuncturist did. And why was a turning point is because acupuncture really helped regulate my hormones, reduce inflammation, and ease the pain. And with these 3 combos regulating my hormones, I wasn't as upset or mean to other people who love me or around me. I wasn't as I want to say the B word, but I was less that. And it helped me reconnect with my body and really I feel more like myself rather than someone who is always upset, angry, just likes to close the door or slams the door and just be in quiet while I have my heating pad on and suffer in pain. So it was like spring for me. After surgeries and acupunctures, I was able to live a quality of life. And now what led me to today is that I'm a licensed acupuncturist specializing in hormonal health and complex reproductive conditions like endometriosis, PCOS, or any type of fertility challenges. And I wanted to help other women feel the way I finally did, heard, supported, and empowered. Yeah.
I think that's really beautiful. And for people who are listening, like I mentioned, Winnie is a dear friend and I know her very well. And she's being very humble. She is the nicest human. When she says she'd close the door or something like that, I've never met someone more compassionate and caring and healing and wanting to help other people while struggling with their own suffering. So Winnie is a light in so many people's lives. So you may have had some hormones that were making you angry, but I've never seen it. But I wanted to acknowledge that, you know, this is incredible that you've gone through so much and it's led you down this path to become a certified acupuncturist. And now you're helping people who are having similar struggles that you had. So I find that to be so just, I don't know, incredible. And I so look up to you as a human. So, okay, talk to us about acupuncture. And, you know, you said you felt like you were seen as a whole person and it helped you just body, mind, spirit. Like it helped you. How does it help? Like pull the curtain back a little bit for us. What's like the science? Why does it help?
First of all, I just wanted to talk about endometriosis and then go into acupuncture as well. So, endometriosis is not just physical pain, it's emotional pain as well. It's not just a bad period, it's a full body disease that impacted your organs, your immune system, and also your mental health. It's often invisible and makes it incredibly isolating. So, I am so thankful to meet you, Melissa, and the rest of the endometriosis girls through the foundation of Endometriosis Foundation, because I don't feel as isolated, and we were able to relate to one another. And I would text you, and it's like, what should I do? Or you text me, what should I do at this moment when I'm about to go to the ER? We many times help each other, so we're not able to go to. We don't have to go to the ER. We know how has it been, right?
Yes.
Many years people go without a diagnosis and it's all in the head. But I want the audience to know that you're not imagining it, and there are other people who are willing to listen and believe you and wanted to help. And I find that acupuncture has really helped manage my endometriosis symptoms. And what are those symptoms? Yes, those are those painful local pain, but also symptoms include um, bowel impact. I'm not able to poop. Or when I poop, I have diarrhea and constipation, or just feel stuck, or another one, endometriosis symptom, fatigue, unexplained fatigue. It's like, I don't want to do anything. Today, I just want to be a potato in bed. And I know that after my period is over, I'll just like climb back up out of the hole and all pale and lack of nutrients and slowly grind back up. And then 2 weeks later, after like a pause, then you're getting hit with your menstrual cycle again. And this type of abnormal imbalance, just to survive every month, it's debilitating. But where does acupuncture come back in is that it helps, manage your symptoms by boosting endorphins and calming your nervous system. It's in Western terms, it improves your blood flow, calms your nervous system, and helps regulate those estrogen levels. And really helps support your immune system. One of the literature finds that how does it lower inflammation? It's also sometimes after an acupuncture session or a series of sessions, it lowers your CA-125 level. That is an indicator for a lot of different types of how your organs are functioning, how's your ovaries functioning, right? My CA-125 levels was through the roof. It was about like 90 something, almost near the ovarian cancer stage, but not there yet. So I was very lucky. And another thing is that, as I mentioned, it helps reduce those estrogen levels, reduce lesions, and especially flare-ups. What I'm so proud of is that after a patient would come to see me, she's like limping on the side, holding onto her back. And after one session, I ask her, how's the pain level from 0 to 10? 10 is like, we're going to the ER right now. She's like, 1, Winnie. I was like, are you lying to me or you're just trying to make me feel happy? She's like, no. And it wasn't just acupuncture. I use moxibustion as well. It's a type of therapy where it's like a rolled cigarette, but a cigarette, like a really big cigarette bar. And inside it's made out of mugwort herbs. And we would light it up and put it all around, warm up your systems and channels below your belly button. And that's where most of the inflammation is. And slowly it just melts away all the different tensions and pain. It's like when you're nervous, right? Your muscles tightens up and you're anxious, but slowly it'll just reduce the inflammation by ensuring that there's a flow of blood and also the flow of energy, blood and energy throughout your body. And in energy, in Eastern medicine, we call energy flow is qi, Qi. And we use fine needles to guide that flow and reduce stagnation and ease inflammation as well. I also want to point out that no, acupuncture is not a cure, but it's a lifeline, and it helps you function with less pain, more clarity, and overall balance. Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that about like how a patient walked in limping and like leaving feeling a lot better. I had a similar, I'm unfortunately dealing with some pelvic floor, just like very tightness and a lot of that. So I am in pelvic PT, but I also still do acupuncture, mainly because of your recommendation to do it, and it has really, really helped me. But I last week went in and she was able to get me to a place. I wasn't 100% better, but a much better place as I walked out of her office. So I've personally found it to be very helpful. I've talked to many patients that have found it to be very helpful. So I know you talked about chi and like blood circulation. Is it when you're this, I don't know. So hopefully maybe you can help us understand, like when you're in a lot of pain, like you said, your muscles get really tight. Your muscles are tightening because of that pain that you're in. And so when you say, you know, you work on the chi or you work on the stagnation, it's almost kind of like opening that up and allowing things to flow. And that's what helps to like reduce the inflammation. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Maybe I usually explain acupuncture in this way as well from a more scientific approach. You know, the human body, we are semiconductors. So if you put a balloon on my head, you would see like some type of static right here, or in the middle of the night, right? You'll lift up your bed sheets very quickly, and you're like, "Oh, what's that electric?" You can see some spark.
Yeah.
Or like on your cell phone, we use thermal heat to actually be able to click around and scroll and navigate our phone. Where does that come from? I am a semiconductor. You are too. And when I applied, or acupuncturists, licensed acupuncturists apply needles, right? These are metal needles, bendable needles, right? Into your body, into different areas of pain. Let's say I have a shoulder pain. Let's not talk about pelvic. I have a shoulder pain, right? You don't really stick a needle here. There are different channels. Maybe the channel is actually right here. This is a major channel that's more powerful than sticking a needle here. Imagine this is actually 42nd Street Grand Central, the major electric hub, dynamic hub, right? To actually go in here and unblock this area, because the blood vessels from your hand all the way to your shoulder, all the way to your neck, is the brachial plexus in Western term, and it's all related to similar blood vessels. So if I put in a needle right here and twist it, and probably after 20-minute section, or even with some movement, you'll immediately feel better and unblock this channel, the meridians right here. So a lot of people expect, patients come in and it's like, oh, I have a headache. A licensed acupuncturist, can you stick a needle in my head? No, that's not how it works. We'll be able maybe to understand your full diagnosis, your situation. Maybe we'll stick the needles near your feet area and lower parts of your body. Why? Because maybe there is a liver qi stagnation. That's the Chinese diagnosis term, where all that energy is built all the way up and fuming up. Your face is red. You're very angry. So we put needles near the feet region or the legs region to pull that energy down and make you feel more grounded, pull that fire down. Yeah. So that's why.
Make it feel balanced.
Yeah, make it feel balanced. So it's quite complicated, but make sure that you go to a licensed acupuncturist, because I know that other other practitioners as well, medical practitioners, they do dry needling, which is completely different from acupuncture. Dry needle is mostly for local muscular pain. These medical practitioners might not be diagnosing your whole entire body, right? So they might do some muscular stimulation, but it's not going to be long term. And the fact that there is no Chinese 4 years of traditional Chinese education or philosophy or diagnosis behind that, and a lot of these licensed medical practitioners, right? Maybe will complete a course for 5 weeks course in person or online to be able to perform dry needling, but acupuncture is not dry needling. Just wanted to clarify.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad that you brought that up. And just so everybody knows, I text Winnie about this a few weeks ago too, and was like, should I do this? Or, so everybody, choice of your own, but that is the distinguishing between the two. Let's see if I can use my words today. Okay. So you said the word needles, right? There may be people listening that are like, I've never done this before, and they're very nervous about acupuncture, and they think needles, and they think it's going to be painful. So does it hurt? I mean, obviously I get acupuncture, but I'm going to ask the professional on the podcast, does it hurt? What are the needles like? Can you help quell some of these nervousness about the needles?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll answer the number one question, does it hurt? And also, if you're willing to try, I'll let you know how you might feel during treatment and also after treatment as well, right? So, does it hurt? The short answer is not really. Acupuncture needles are nothing like the ones used for shots or drawing blood out of your veins. They're super, super thin, about the width of a human hair. I have a picture that shows a diagram of a matchstick, the size of a matchstick, a size of a sewing needle, right? And then next one up is actually the size of the blood drawn needle, and also the next one is the size of an acupuncture needle, right? And also the lowest, thinnest is actually a human hair. So it's very, very small, very, very tiny. And at most, you would feel like a quick little pinch or a dull heaviness, which is actually a good sign. That's when we call it the chi sensation. It means your body is responding. And a lot of people, what you feel during a treatment is that once the needles are in, a lot of patients feel super relaxed and sedated, sometimes even fall asleep during the session. You'll feel like a gentle warmth or tingling sensation, a feeling of heaviness or movement where the needle is. Usually the heaviness are usually on both of your legs. And all the needles are very, very thin, and it's super safe. Only if you know someone who's a licensed acupuncturist and know what he or she is doing, right? Someone who is very experienced, very gentle as well, and also works with you, not just stick a needle in. Have to work with you, right? So everyone's experience is different, but my patients often feel like it's more of a release, like their body is finally exhaling after holding on to those tensions for too long. And after the sessions, they would like come up, right? Sit down and tell me, they feel a lot more relaxed, grounded, and lighter. This is especially true for a lot of New Yorkers.
I bet.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'll tell the story of the first time I went, and people will probably chuckle at this. You'll probably chuckle at this. The first time I went, I remember just laying there. She put all the needles in, and then she she left the room and closed the door. And I remember panicking for a minute. I was like, oh my gosh, I have all these needles in me. What if I have to go to the bathroom? Like I just started like getting in my head and running down the course. And then I just sat there for a minute. I like calmed down. And just like you said, Winnie, like it's almost like a trance or like a meditative state. I get so relaxed. I'm almost asleep. And at the end, I feel like I just had like a 3-hour nap. Like it really helps me feel relaxed. And then afterwards I feel better. But it is funny. And I told her the story, of course, after that first time. I was like, oh, she's like, just take the needles out. If you're really panicking or you have to go to the bathroom, stick them in the little pillow, like, the pillow that you're laying in. Go to the bathroom and tell me that you were panicking. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I was just so nervous about it. And one of the other things she told me, like one time I had one in my neck and it was affecting, it just wasn't fitting right. And she's like, just pop it out, stick it in the pillow and continue with your session. So I don't know if those are great recommendations, but those are some of my like personal experiences when I did get in the spot where I was very nervous. Now I've probably had 70 sessions. That's happened twice. And every other time I feel incredible afterwards.
Yeah, I think that Melissa, the acupuncturist who did that did the right thing, because at the end of the day, you control your own body. I want to make sure that it's like not like you're waiting for the acupuncturist to pull out those needles. It's okay, pull out the needles where it hurts and put it on the side and leave it there. Or for me, I know that a lot of patients they have always feels a little bit nervous, right? Or even first time. I always tell them I'm gonna sit right behind that door. My seat is right there. Usually like we give them like a little button to click on,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll be right there. I'm not going to see multiple patients as one or juggle. I want to make sure that you have that experience and we're working together. And I'll be right here. I'm watching you. So then you go to sleep, you take your nap, you take your rest time. And if you have to cry, cry, let it out. Sometimes my needles are actually to actually open emotions as well. Usually at this point right here in between your chest and also right here, about 3 fingers right here. These 2 points actually release your emotions that you're building up, uh, not just what you may think of, but also emotions that was suppressed when you were a kid, um, learned behaviors. There's a lot going on that I learned about acupuncture that I didn't realize until I was in the school. And Melissa, also one thing I want to tell you is that I didn't believe in acupuncture at all. I had all those surgeries, and my mom was, and then one of the surgeries, another surgery the last surgery was a turning point because I had damage on my pelvic nerve on my right leg. So I had a cane for about several months and I was limping. I was not able to sit down. And the only type of movement was through the cane. And I lived on that cane for several months. Then my mom couldn't bear it any longer, but decided, let's go to Chinatown in New York City and give it a try. Um, and I went with her. I went with her with the cane on the subway, took an hour there. We had an appointment, but still, I had to wait about 2 hours because in Chinatown, he's known as Asian Jesus. So then the line was so long, but it's fine. So I went to see Asian Jesus every single week, twice a week, and I was on disability while I was working in corporate at Deloitte. And he was so inspiring that after about 1 month session, I went every week. I threw that cane away. Now I can walk around, do hip hop dance classes, do Pilates, do whatever I want. I can do stretches, I can do the pigeon pose, no pain at all. One more thing I want to tell you on the audience here is that I don't take any painkillers, no gabapentin, nerve block, nothing of that. Even after all these surgeries, no Vicodin, Oxycontin, no controlled substances, not even morphine. And when they offer me Toradol or Tylenol, I would gently decline no. Yes, I have a high pain tolerance that I say to other people. Honestly, if I have a paper cut, I'll be screaming. So I don't have pain tolerance anymore. The thing is that I don't want that in my body because one time after surgery, they told me to click that thing if you have pain, but they didn't tell me what it is. So I clicked it like I was playing video games and it had a whole lot of morphine in my body. So I couldn't even open my eyes, but I'm able to hear what people say to me, like my surgeons or doctors where we're coming. I don't like the fact that I'm not able to control my body. That's why, Melissa, I really love your acupuncturist when she told you, you know what? If it hurts, right? take it out yourself. I want it, it's also so good as a patient to be able to control your body and control different things, and also be able to say no. Because remember, in the very beginning, I told you I was very shy and quiet. I was suffering in silence for all these years, but now after all the surgeries and all this different treatment, I think it opened up my mouth too. So it's like I'm able to talk and be vulnerable and be okay being vulnerable, because I understand that our stories, whatever you're doing right now with all the guests here in the cycle, Melissa, it's lighting up, my vulnerabilities, everybody's all vulnerabilities. It's lighting up other women's suffering in silence, in the dark, and that it's okay to talk about it. There is nothing to lose. Doesn't matter about anybody else, what others' thoughts are, or, take out the needle yourself. I want you to be in control of your body. So, I'm trying to say the message here that I'm not trying to come across, but control your own body, right? And there are people who are willing to listen, willing to care, and be open. Don't be suffering in silence.
Yeah, I think that's such an important message, Winnie, and many of us and people who are listening right now probably are suffering in silence and haven't been able to talk about it. I was very shy to come out and talk about it for years too, and finally started openly talking about my story, which is still challenging because you run into someone you see on the street if you post about it on Instagram or something that you haven't seen in 10 years, and they look at you and they say, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And yes, of course I'm okay, but I'm trying to raise awareness because for so many years I hid, very much like you. I hid this. I didn't tell people. Only the closest people who saw me suffering saw it. So I do think that that is such an important message. And I didn't know the story about your mom taking you to Chinatown. That whole thing changed your life. It helped you get out of pain, and it inspired you to push forward and become an acupuncturist yourself. I think that is incredible. That is just such a beautiful story. I had no idea. I'm so happy you shared it here.
Yeah, I was after the first session, right? I was like, "What is this voodoo? It's not working on me." And it wasn't working the first session because I had my guard in. I came in with shields and defense mechanism and a feeling of fear. I don't want needles. Like but then I tell myself, you know what? I've been through so many scalpels and knives and surgeries. This is the 7th surgery, so give it a try.
Yeah.
The needle
Yeah.
was pinchy at first, but then afterwards, I think I was sedated. I was out. And I felt, after I woke up, I was like, I don't feel any different. La-di-da, let me go on with the day. But my mom's like, no, you get your butt there next week. So we went again and again, and then over time, it's gradual healing. It's not like magic one shot. No wonder Asian Jesus' lines every single time I go, even though I have an appointment, it was a 2-hour wait. So I would bring my laptop there and watch a movie, and then it's my turn. There is a reason behind that, and so many people are just lining up after it because it's transformational.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so happy that you shared that. So speaking of that, and you said you went once a week, and I want to get into like how often people should go. But before we get into that, you talked about surgery, you talked about this. How do you see this care? Like, how do you blend it? Because I know you've said it's not a cure. This is a tool, right? This is a tool in your toolbox to help you when you have endo or PCOS, like you mentioned. So is there a blend? Is it, you're still working with your doctor, and then this is like just a modality in your box, your toolkit?
Absolutely. I deeply believe in integrated care. So it's not just I rely only on Chinese medicine, only on alternative methods of healing, right? I worked alongside with a lot of surgeons, a lot of OBGYNs, fertility doctors, naturopaths, colorectal surgeons, you name it. Chinese medicine doesn't replace Western medicine. It complements it, just like pelvic rehab or chiro or nutrition. It can help fill in the gaps between the many appointments that you're running by, ease some of your side effects like vomit or nausea, fatigue, and helps restore that balance where the conventional treatments may fall short. And I see myself as part of your care team, someone who brings in a different lens, but also shares the same goal as Western doctors, which is helping you feel well holistically. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so beautifully said. And I totally agree, right? With this disease, you need multiple people on your care team. And
Yeah. And also, there is research behind that. Let's say you have ovarian cysts, right? Endometriosis. After having traditional Chinese herbs for several months, or even like several months, right? It really depends on your condition. You get a CAT scan or imaging before and after your treatments, right? You may see a reduction in your ovarian cyst size. There is literature behind this, and it's because of the Chinese herbs combination with acupuncture that's ridding all this stuff in your body. So I have a patient who one day came in and says, like, Winnie, after three months on these herbs, I feel less more energized. But one day, all of a sudden, I blocks of dark brown chunks just came out, and it wasn't during my cycle. I was like, yeah, it's slowly peeling away all the stuff that shouldn't be in your body, and I'm glad it's coming out through this downstairs rather than opening you up and make you
yeah,
suffer from all the all the all the all the all the symptoms that you may receive from surgery.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Well, this has been so incredibly helpful. I may have you back on again. Maybe we'll just talk about hormones. I'm not sure. But, is there anything that you want to add? Any tips, tricks, anything we've missed? And then at the end, I want to tell patients how they can find you.
Yeah, so if you're listening and you've been living with chronic pain or hormonal struggles, please know that you are not alone. Don't shift your mindset to go down any rabbit hole. Reach out for help. Talk to somebody. Reach out to myself, Melissa, reach out to somebody. You deserve to be heard. And there is support out there. So if you or someone you love is living with endometriosis or struggling to conceive or just been dismissed too many times by doctors who didn't listen, come see me. Come find me. I offered 15-minute consultation, and I'm happy to walk you through what acupuncture may be right for you, or find an acupuncturist near your zip code if you're willing to share that with me, right? Whether you're new to acupuncture, you've been on a long road already, you're always welcome here. There's no pressure, no perfection, just who you are. I always tell my patients, come without makeup, wear your yoga pants, wear those sweatpants and a t-shirt. The reason why is because I want them to be comfortable. And the second thing is that I'm known as moxibustion queen at my school clinic. I love to work on moxibustion on you and do the herbs. A lot of acupuncturists don't want to do that and just do needles only, is because for moxibustion, you have to sit there and rotate around the patient so the herbs and the smoke assimilate in your body. And I myself and also the patient in the room, it might get smoky and smells. And nobody wants to be in that room to do all that. But at the end of the day, when the patient wakes up, that patient feels a whole lot better. And that better may last 1 or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks. And also the next cycle, they'll feel like, oh, wow, the menstrual is actually flowing better. The color is no longer dark brown. It's getting bright red. So you can see that change in your body. And also, like, another indicator is from our bowel movements. Those bowels, they're no longer a fluctuation between diarrhea and constipation. It's more about formed stools. And that is a really good indicator. Yeah.
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 Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. And do you have a social channel, social media? How can we find you? How can people find you?
Yeah, I can share that with you in your links below. So I have a few, but my website is winniechanacupuncture.com, and my social media, I'll share it on the links with you, and
Okay.
yeah, we'll go from there. But I'm happy to talk to anybody and really give that support to you, because I started off as a patient as well, now becoming a healer, and it's time for me to give back because I almost died from this issue. Yeah, this is.
Well, I give you so much kudos for doing this and working full time and learning, going to school for 4 years, working full time and having endometriosis. I am so grateful to have you as a friend and in my life. And honestly, Winnie was a healer before she went to acupuncture school. I'm not just saying that. She is such a beautiful soul and compassionate and empathetic. And I've never met anyone like you before. I just think you're so incredible, and I'm so happy that you were on the show, and I really appreciate you talking to us about acupuncture, and so proud of you that you changed your life to do something to help other people because of your struggles, and that's super incredible.
I feel that the same thing about you, Melissa. Those kind words, everything is right back at you, because this podcast and all the different things you're doing and connecting with women and also different types of surgeons and medical field, all behind the scenes. This is amazing. I think that, Melissa, we are chosen along this path, and I think someone above is actually picking different personalities to actually walk through this journey, but walking through this journey the hard way. We have to experience all those different struggles to actually appreciate life and appreciate what we do and have a mission to move forward. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And there's so much hope. And I thank you all so much for listening. I will link everything that Winnie said in the show notes so you can find her. Highly, highly recommend. Just check it out. Even just follow her on Instagram, check out her website. But she's helped me so much, and I hope that she can help you too. I hope you're all feeling well today. Thank you for listening. If this show helped you, please give us a 5-star review, subscribe. But overall, please feel well today, and thank you so much for listening.